The first mammal to orbit the Earth was a stray dog from the streets of Russia named Lakia. The year was November 3rd, 1957. With the launch of Sputnik 2, the experiment of sending animals into space has been done before with animals such as the chimpanzee, but it was only for a 1 or 2 minute joyride. It did not go past the ozone layer. This experiment happened during the beginning of the space race, which was a battle between America and the Soviet Union, to see who could hold up with the most advanced technology. The country in charge of making this project happen was the Soviet Union, but the individuals in charge of the whole test were two men from different perspectives and jobs. One was Nikita Khrushchev and Sergei Korolev. The person involved with the making of the rocket was the engineer Sergei. Nikita was a Soviet statesman who led the Soviet Union during part of the Cold War as the first secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union from 1953 to 1964, and as chairman of the Council of Ministers, or Premier, from 1958 to 1964. He was the one who ordered Sergei to make the rocket. Sputnik 2 was the second spacecraft launched into Earth orbit and was the first such biological spacecraft. It was a 4-meter high cone-shaped capsule with a base diameter of 2 meters. It contained several compartments for radio transmitters, a telemetry system, a programming unit, a regeneration and temperature control system for the cabin, and scientific instruments. A separate sealed cabin contained the experimental dog Lakia. The mongrel, possibly part husky and part terrier Lakia, stayed in orbit for 162 Earth days, and a couple of hours coming back, Lakia passed away. The year 1957 was a great year to get the word around of a Russian trying to beat an American in a race. And that is exactly what happened on the news all around the world, saying that the Russians are getting closer to technology that the Americans can't even get their hands on, or even know where to start. That's when the Explorer 1 came to be on January 31st, 1958, just 2 months after the whole Sputnik 2 accomplishment. The Americans came to launch the first satellite into space by America, followed by the Explorer 2 on March 5th, 1958, which failed to reach orbit, and the Vanguard on March 17, 1958. A lot of things came to be, such as Syria and Egypt becoming politically unified with the creation of the United Arab Republic, Brussels World's Fair, which took place in Brussels, Belgium, the Munich air disaster, which was a plane crash that carried the team of Manchester on February 6. What made this all possible was with the start of the first satellite in space, which was Sputnik 1. The Soviet Union launched it into an elliptical low Earth orbit on October 4, 1957, orbiting for 3 weeks before its batteries died, then silently for 2 more months before falling back into the atmosphere. A group of scientists led by Mikhail Tikhorov and at the newly created N24 Military Institute pioneered the work, which would ultimately lead up to the first Soviet artificial satellite. For future projects after Sputnik 2, was the most memorable time of human history, when America landed three men by the name of Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin on the moon, upon the Apollo 11 lunar module Eagle on July 20th, 1969. This advancement that started off with something small such as a dog in a metal cylinder came to be the start of many new